Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Preston Endress. A man was taken into custody by Hazleton police on Sunday after officers say he refused to identify himself and resisted arrest. According to police, officers were dispatched to the Flow X Lounge on West Broad Street around 4 a.m. after 911 dispatchers heard people arguing on an open line. Upon arriving at the scene, officers say the owner requested that a male be removed from the property. Police say the male, who was later identified as Briam Jimenez, was highly intoxicated and refused to identify himself. According to police, when Jimenez was informed that he was being taken into custody for public drunkenness, he became combative and lunged at the officers. Jimenez has been charged with terroristic threats, resisting arrest, disorderly conduct, and public drunkenness in connection with the incident. He is currently behind bars at the Luzerne County Correctional Facility, unable to post his $25,000 bail. PennDOT has announced upcoming lane restrictions on Interstate 81 in Luzerne County. According to PennDOT officials, the lane restrictions will extend from the Dorrance exit 155 to Highland Park Boulevard exit 168. The lane restrictions will be in effect on Thursday, June 20th, Monday, June 24th, and Tuesday, June 25th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Crews will be working on the pothole patching and shoulder cutting. The work is weather dependent. PennDOT encourages motorists to take an alternate route to avoid traffic delays. Senator Linda Schlegel-Culver has announced that she will be hosting office hours in Mountaintop. Beginning Thursday, June 20th, Culver will host office hours on the third Thursday each month at the Rice Township Building located at 3000 Church Road. The office hours will run from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. During the office hours, Culver will provide the same services available at her other offices, including assistance with property tax rent rebate program applications, unemployment compensation claims, and PennDOT paperwork. To reserve a time to meet with Culver's staff, you can contact the Luzerne County office at 570-387-4267. Coming up on WYLN News, Governor Josh Shapiro climbs the tallest tree in Blue Knob State Park. Plus, the Pennsylvania Theater of Performing Arts invites the public to see Tuck Everlasting this weekend. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the WYLN Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Lil. Tomorrow's going to be sunny.
Weather Kids is brought to you by Lehigh Valley Hospital, Hazleton. Your health deserves a partner.
We want your child to be our WYLN Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on WYLN News and WYLN social media posts, just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the WYLN News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today.
Your guide to everything Pocono Mountains is PTN, the Pocono Television Network. Watch PTN on WYLN.
Hey, did you know WYLN posts news stories and other bonus content on social media all week long? The Weather Kids, Fresh from the Farm, Everyday Heroes, Let's Talk Sports, Feel Good Friday, daily news stories, and more. Visit WYLNTV.com, Facebook, and YouTube to check it out. WYLN, the local leader on social media. We're your local network. Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve, 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969. When you see news happening in your neighborhood, call WYLN News at 570-459-1869 or email us at news@WYLNTV.com or send us a message on social media through Facebook. WYLN, we're your local network.
Welcome back to WILN News. Governor Josh Shapiro visited Blue Knob State Park this week and climbed the largest tree with a local agriculture teacher. Van Wagner, a local agriculture teacher at Danville Area High School, has been climbing trees across the Commonwealth to raise awareness for Pennsylvania forests. His goal is to climb the highest tree on the highest mountain in all 67 counties. Blue Knob State Park marked his 46th climb. During the visit, Agriculture Secretary Russell Redding spoke about the Shapiro administration's investments in agriculture and recreation. The Pennsylvania hardwoods industry feeds $39 billion into the state's economy each year. The Shapiro administration is also investing in forest management practices to ensure that the forest can continue to serve as hubs for tourism and recreation into the future. Tuck Everlasting is coming to the Pennsylvania Theater of Performing Arts this weekend. The show is a production by the Youth Academy, a group that gives older teens and young adults an opportunity to take on substantial roles in producing a full-stage production. Tuck Everlasting is based on the beloved children's novel by Natalie Babbitt. The performances will be held at 212 West Broad Street in Hazleton at 7 p.m. on Friday, June 21st, and Saturday, June 22nd, and at 3 p.m. on Sunday, June 23rd. Tickets can be purchased online at ptapashows.org or at the PTPA box office. The Hanover Township Neighborhood Crime Watch is hosting a Public Safety Day event on Thursday. The event will take place at the Hanover Township McDonald's located on the Sanssouci Parkway. During the event, participants will have the opportunity to meet with local first responders and enjoy a free ice cream cone. Discounted Happy Meals will also be available. The event will run from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Coming up on Lee Heighton's News Choice, Chris Fulmer releases Down the Path Through History with Plymouth Part 3. Plus, we learn some hot weather safety tips on Wellness Wednesday. And stay right here on WILN. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for an affordable pre-owned car or truck, Cheers Auto Sales has a great lineup of clean, dependable, and quality vehicles. Stop in at 610 North Broad Street in West Hazleton, 570-454-7229. Cheers is proud to be celebrating 70 years in business.
WYLN TV 35 is expanding and is on the hunt for a dynamic salesperson to join our vibrant team. If you've got the passion and the drive, we want to hear from you. Send your resume to the email displayed on your screen. Don't miss this great opportunity.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Renai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600. Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about checking out a restaurant with a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we are featuring on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. So, spend some time learning about great wine, great beer, and great food on WYLN TV 35.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, maybe even ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. I end up going to a dentist and he wants to charge over $600 for a night guard. That's when I found this, the Brux night guard. This was a game changer. It's smaller than other night guards that I tried, which is a good thing because it doesn't make me gag. It could fit on the top or the bottom of the teeth. It's lightweight and super comfortable. Now the Brux Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brux Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Go to bruxnightguard.com and order yours today. Your teeth will thank you for it in the morning.
Go to bruxnightguard.com and use the promo code to activate your special TV offer. That's bruxnightguard.com. Order today and take advantage of this special TV offer. Your teeth will thank you for it in the morning.
This week on Let's Talk Chiropractic, many people are calling my office asking more and more about our laser. So why don't you tune in this week to see more about what's going on with the cold laser at our office.
was reaching its zenith as a community in the last decades of the 19th century. Its peace, however, would be shattered during the century's last decades and the first decade of the 20th century through several different events that would gain the sympathy of the entire nation. The first was a typhoid epidemic that struck the town in the first part of 1885. It was traced afterwards to a dairy farmer who lived along Coal Creek, which fed into the town's water supply. He had caught typhoid while visiting his brother in Philadelphia the previous Christmas, and while he recuperated at home, the snow in his property became contaminated with the disease. When spring came, it melted and entered Coal Creek, and eventually the town reservoir, contaminating all the water therein. Over the course of 1885, 1,153 people were infected with typhoid, 114 of whom died, although it is likely the actual toll was higher due to unreported cases. 4 years later, a religious dispute broke out in Plymouth that would also gain national headlines. One of the 3 Catholic churches in town was St. Mary's Polish Catholic Church, which was meant to serve both Polish and Lithuanian parishioners. As both countries at the time had been absorbed into the Tsarist Russian Empire, this might have seemed logical to those who put the parish together, but both nationalities considered themselves distinct, and thus when 2 different Lithuanian priests were appointed to lead the Polish majority church, the Polish parishioners, led by saloon-keeper Martin Wilkes, revolted. The second Lithuanian priest in question, Father Alexander Burba, was blocked from using the parsonage by Polish church members. When Scranton's Bishop William O'Hara sent Father Mack of the town's St. Vincent's Irish Church to intervene, the father was turned away from the parsonage at gunpoint by the Poles. Nonplussed, Father Mack went to City Hall and obtained warrants for the rebels' arrests. In the aftermath of this standoff, the Lithuanians would form their own congregation, but what became known as the Polish-Lithuanian Church War was not over yet, as in January 1890, Martin Wilkes led a group of Polish churchgoers in barring a young Lithuanian boy from being buried in the parish cemetery at gunpoint. Wilkes was arrested for this disturbance, but once released on bail, he and several followers almost immediately dug up 2 other Lithuanian children and tossed their bodies out of the cemetery. Not content to stop there, Wilkes then confronted St. Mary's new priest, Father Zemanowski, and demanded he relinquish the keys to the parsonage and quit. Father Zemanowski, however, would not be threatened, and promptly pulled a gun on Wilkes and ordered him out. Wilkes complied, threatening to burn the building down as he left, but he was arrested again before he had the chance to do so. He would be convicted of assault and battery in April 1890 and served a year and a half in prison. The new Lithuanian church, St. Casimir's, opened to worship in December of that year, along with a new Lithuanian cemetery, and the Polish-Lithuanian Church War officially ended. 1889 would also see a terrible tragedy unfold at the town's Powell Squib Factory. Founded in 1883, it made squibs, paper straws filled with black powder that were used to blast apart coal seams in the mines. Producing the squibs was often a job for young women, and the factory could employ up to 90 of them in its manufacturing. On the morning of February 25, 1889, though, most of the factory's workforce had been furloughed due to broken machinery, and only 11 girls were at work that day. This would prove most fortuitous for those laid off when, around 1 p.m., a trio of massive explosions rocked the factory, the last one so powerful that it blew the roof clean off the building and set it completely ablaze. Although townspeople rushed to the factory to give aid, it was already too late. All 11 girls working inside, including 2 of owner John Powell's nieces, had been killed in the blast. Only the foreman, George Reese, survived the explosions, which had blown him out of the building, although he too succumbed to his injuries a few days later. An investigation concluded the explosions were likely accidental, that a live squib had been tossed accidentally into a furnace with several defective ones, which was the usual way to dispose of the latter, thus detonating all of them. A grieving community, spearheaded by Powell, would raise $500 for a monument to the explosion's victims. That monument stands today in Plymouth's Shawnee Cemetery, a silent testament to the dangers young women faced in the workplace at that time. The mines, too, remained dangerous in the late 19th century. The Gaylord mine on Cherry Street, which coincidentally was close by the Powell Squib factory, would be showing signs of imminent roof collapse in February 1894. Numerous props throughout the mine were squeezing and breaking under the pressure of the ground above. Mine management felt they could head off the problem by adding in larger and more secure timbers. And so it was on the morning of February 13th that Assistant Foreman Thomas Picton was leading 12 other miners in placing support timbers in the mine. Suddenly, without warning, the roof caved in so quickly that the miners had no chance to escape. Over 600 square yards of the mine collapsed in rapid succession. When rescuers finally reached the dead, some were found in upright positions, having tried to run for it in the final seconds of their lives. Roughly half of the victims of the Gaylord mine disaster also rest today in Shawnee Cemetery. And then, on March 2, 1982, the borough was hit by one of the most destructive floods in the recorded history of the Susquehanna Valley when temperatures abruptly rose, melting all the snow in the area. Coupled with nearly 2 inches of rain falling in less than 24 hours, the Susquehanna rose almost 31 feet above its low water mark. Streets close to the river were flooded, and railroads in town were washed out. Plymouth recovered quickly from the flood in the end, although it would be hit hard again in both 1936 and 1974. But it was not all disaster during this time in Plymouth. The Plymouth Street Railway was incorporated in May 1889 and ran the full length of the borough. It would be leased by the Wilkes-Barre and Wyoming Valley Traction Company shortly after completion, and with the opening of the Carey Street Bridge in 1895, was extended via second line across the bridge to Wilkes-Barre's Public Square. The system would extend all throughout the Susquehanna Valley into neighboring towns such as Ashley, Edwardsville, Sugar Notch, and Wyoming, and operate into the 1850s. Elsewhere in Luzerne County, textile manufacturing became a big business in Plymouth as well, with mills such as the Atwood Silk Mill and the Pioneer Knitting Mill taking root in the community. The Howell Mining Drill Company, Shawnee Box Factory, and West Lumber were among the other notable businesses that operate in the town as well as the centuries changed over.
Your guide to everything Pocono Mountains is PTN, the Pocono Television Network. Tune in and see all the unique places to stay and things to do in the Pocono Mountains. Watch PTN on WYLN.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN. Like and follow WYLN News on Facebook for the WYLN News Midday Update, posted daily between noon and 2 p.m., powered by Lehigh Valley Health Network. When it's serious, there's only one health network with seriously innovative health institutes. Lehigh Valley Health Network, your health deserves a partner. Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969. WYLN programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online.
Hi, welcome to Wellness Wednesday. Now, if you've been outside, you probably know it's getting hotter and hotter, and it's supposed to get hotter during the rest of the week. So we thought we would bring in our expert, Dr. Kara Weaver, our medical director for our emergency department here in Hazleton. And she's going to give us some tips on how to stay cool, how to stay healthy during these trying times in the summer. So welcome, Dr. Weaver.
Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. So we need some tips. I mean, we all know drink some water and stuff like that, and try to stay cool. But you see a lot of things in the emergency department, people with heat exhaustion and stuff like that. Give us some really good pointers on how to keep ourselves hydrated the proper way and what to do to cool down.
Sure. So obviously, this week we're going into this heat wave, with these heat indexes into the hundreds. And so, with that, your body's going to be working a little bit harder during this time to make sure that you stay cool. Mm-hmm. And so, taking in plenty of water, even though as basic as it is really, really important, because your body's going to be burning through it between sweating and trying to keep your body temperature down. So it's kind of like, it's a little bit more of a workout, a little more stress. And so that's why it's really important to replace what you're losing. But it's not just the fact that you need to take water to do that, but the other part of it is making sure that you're taking in fluids like water. Gatorade and Peterlite are also good for some electrolyte replacement, especially if you're working out or doing physical activity during, this heat. But we definitely want you to be encouraged to avoid things that might actually, even though they're fluids, may cause some dehydration. So things like, coffee, as great as it is. Now, I'm not saying that you have to avoid coffee completely, but it's not the time to drink multiple cups of coffee or a pot of coffee during the day.
So tell me, why is that?
Instead of water.
Why is that?
Because coffee, as wonderful as it has caffeine in it, but coffee also stimulates the body to kind of, get rid of fluids too.
Oh,
so
okay.
If you ever noticed you drink a bunch of coffee, you gotta, sometimes you feel like you end up urinating more. So then, you're having to, try to replace those fluids. So, coffee is not a replacement to water.
So basically anything with caffeine, like, sodas
soda
with caffeine and stuff like that too. Okay.
And soda can do that a little bit too. Soda, it's very similar in that sense. Yeah.
Okay. So, I was just at my wonderful Vital Choice group. We were at the Freeland Pavilion, and we're feeling the heat and we're encouraging them to hydrate and everything. We have a lot of people who are seniors in our community. What are some tips for them? A lot of them like to just keep going, maybe being out in the garden, outside, doing things and stuff like that, not realizing what the toll it's taking on them. So what are some suggestions for especially them that age?
Yes, I think, some tips is, obviously, if you can avoid doing physical activity when, especially during peak sunlight hours and heat hours, is really important, particularly, in all populations, but particularly in geriatrics or even in children. So if you do enjoy gardening or you want to go take a walk, or there's something you do need to do around the house, either probably, early morning or, in the evening around sunset, probably the best times a day to do things like that. Because you're avoiding the, kind of that peak hour of sunlight and activity. You want to wear very light, breathable clothing. So, things that are going to help as you sweat, not, kind of help whisk away that,
like that wicking material and stuff like that. Yeah.
And the other thing is, you can actually buy clothing now that has UV protection in it. So UV shirts are good because not only is that stuff light and breathable, but also prevents, UV penetration to you. So, basically protects you from the sun.
Right.
Which is good also. Sunscreen, obviously, for all, populations during this is important because of the sun rays to prevent burns. And because of the fact that right now the sun, we're getting to the time of the year, it's the strongest, getting into summer. Summer's this week. So most direct, UV rays are coming at us. But I think besides that and increasing fluids, take frequent breaks. Okay.
Good
so
idea, yeah.
If you have to be out there working in the heat or, you want to go do some of these things, take breaks, do a little bit. If you can remove yourself from the heat, go into air conditioning, or get out from outside the sun, whether it's under a tree or into the house, that's better than just being under direct sunlight all day.
Absolutely.
And then I think the other thing too, is just making sure that, you are keeping up with those fluids in the day, but maybe, also fuel yourself through the day if you have to work through this heat or spend some time in the heat. Taking in, very small, frequent meals gives you some energy. You might not get an upset stomach from being out.
That's a good idea because I know a lot of people always say when it's hot out, I don't feel like eating. And that's probably the worst thing to do. But like you said, if you do those small little meals, then it wouldn't be so much on you. Yeah, that's a great idea, yeah.
Yeah, so it's something to think about, like especially if you're going to be out doing like yard work, or you have to be out doing work, during this time.
So, I just saw there was another child in a hot car. Can we talk just a little bit about the importance and re-educating and emphasizing to our audience that no one should be in that hot car at all for any length of time, humans or animals or anything like that?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. That's, that is something that occasionally does come into the emergency department where you see, children, the elderly having heat exhaustion. They could even progress to heat stroke. Young children, geriatrics particularly, you could die from this. Temperatures in the car, drastically higher than the temperature outside because you have that sunlight hitting the windows. Cars made of metal.
No ventilation.
No ventilation.
The windows are closed.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that makes it really, it basically just increases
like
that temperature.
Yeah.
It makes it a lot, worse for these populations that just don't have the ability to compensate for that type of heat.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, thank you so much for this valuable information. As always, we appreciate you coming on. And thank you for watching Wellness Wednesday, and stay cool.
You're watching WYLN TV 35,